Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury retrograde reading for you. Now, this reading is going to highlight key points of what you need to be looking out for during this Mercury retrograde, which is going to be from February 17th to March 10th. Also, just things that Spirit and your angels want you to know. And I do know that this brace right here is just going to be a little cumbersome, so bear with me. I did really hurt my thumb, so don't mind it too much. Okay, let's dive right in. I'm going to be doing your Botanical Oracle cards. Try to make this short and sweet, Aries, so that we can dive right into the reading. Okay. How will Aries be affected by the Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. This right here, courage. I like that. Oh. And this right here, enjoy and subdue. So have courage. You will enjoy this retrograde more than you expect to, and it is going to be a little bit more subdued than you had imagined. Your spirit animal for this Mercury retrograde and its insights. How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. No, this one right here. The Bat Spirit. A rebirth is assured. Oh, I love that. How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? The I Am Presence. I love that. And again, rebirth. So rebirth is really strong for you here, which is beautiful. Okay. Now, if you have noticed, I already had the listening and the communication, the throat chakra cards out. So these are astoundingly important during this time because you're going to find with Mercury retrograde, it really messes up communication. So listening, highly important. Communication, not taking anything by assumptions, making sure that things are really, clear, laid out. That is going to be one of the keys to success here for you, Aries. How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? How will Aries be affected by this Mercury retrograde, February 17th to March 10th? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. All right, you have the King of Swords right here, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Knight of Swords, communication key, Tower. Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. The Star card, Aquarius energy. Now, what's really cool about this is that the Mercury retrograde starts in Pisces and it ends in Aquarius. So that is going to be important. There's going to be a healing that comes. Yeah. And if any of these cards kind of catch your fancy, they will all be linked in the description box below. All right, so let's dive right in. Let's start talking about your Botanical Oracle cards that came up. You have Subdued, which is the Salal. You have the Strawberries, which is Enjoy. And then you have Courage, which is the Borage. So you need courage during this time. Why? Because things can get really kind of mucked up, things lost in translation. You're sitting there and you think you're being clear, but this is also going to be a highly emotional time for you. And the way that this affects you you Aries, you personally, is that this is going to make you, this time period from February 17th to March 10th, you're going to be more emotionally connected to things, things are going to be more emotional for you, all right? And it's going to be intense, the connection to things. So it's going to be more emotional than you would like it. You would like things to be a little bit step back a little bit more clear, a little bit more cut and dry. And that is not how this time is going to be for you, unfortunately, which can make it really hard to enjoy yourself the way that you want to. But once you see your heart, you see your understandings, you see what needs to be addressed and what needs to be looked at, you are subdued, you are calm, you find that this time period, this retrograde, isn't as bad as you had expected, isn't as all-encompassing as you had thought it would be. And it does bring out a stronger side of you. Now, you might sit there and say, I don't want a stronger side of me to come out. You're an Aries, you're already astoundingly strong, but it brings out a stronger, softer side to you. It's like this beautiful balance that comes together, which leads you to the bat spirit, which leads you to a rebirth is assured. There is this sense here, and it is linked right here with the stars, with the earth star chakra, which is located 6 inches below your feet. A time of rebirth. It's a time of nurturing, rejuvenation, stability is really going to come. Now, it sounds odd to say that in this retrograde, you're going to find stability, but it's going to shake things up where you see what's truly important to you and what isn't. This is also a time where you're it's kind of like refrain from making any big decisions because they won't work out the way that you had anticipated them. Yeah, it's kind of like this is a poor time for contracts. This is a poor time, communication, things just get lost, tongue-tied, things feel overwhelmed. And you're going to find that you really need to focus on the I am presence of your crown. This is the crown chakra, but this is saying, this is who I am. This is what I want. And to repeat to yourself over and over again during this time, I am enough. I am powerful. I am strong. I am connected. I am, enough. Because there are going to be times where you doubt it, where you sit there and you think, wow, everything I touch just seems to fall apart. It doesn't. It isn't going to. It's just not going to work out the way that you had planned. I kind of like to think of retrogrades as kind of having a trickster, walk through everything, a trickster god, touch everything and make everything kind of turn on its head. But it also really calls us to paying attention to our communication. And in this world of rapid fire everything, Mercury retrograde says pull back. Pull back and take the time. Take the time to really talk to people. Take the time to call on the phone instead of sending a text. Things like this are going to be important to you as you move forward in this retrograde. And knowing that I am present, I am here, I am strong, is going to be renewing for you, and it's going to be powerful for you during this time. Because you might feel like you're not enough, like everything is all topsy-turvy, and it becomes overwhelming. This is why communication, okay? Not only the communication of words, but if you see here, they communicate kind of psychically. And it isn't psychic communication, it is being emotionally in tune to the world around you. And this is why you will find that during this time, it is very emotional for you. You are more emotionally connected to things. Why? Because the communication is running deeper. And also the mishaps with communication can run deeper than just words, than papers being signed or not signed, or things being misplaced. So here, being really involved, being really connected with the situation is going to lead you to being a better listener, but also being a better leader, because you are represented by the Emperor in the major arcana, Aries. You have this power, this beauty, this truth to you. You have this way of leading a situation, and by being a better listener, you become a better leader, and you find that you are reinvigorated within your role of warrior. Okay, I'm not saying that this is going to be a war, but I'm saying that as Aries is the god of war, as being this defender, this truth seeker, this person who knows what they want or is discovering what they want, but stands true and firm to it. And here we have air sign energy right at your core, with the King of Swords. Now, I love to think of the kings as the actors upon the stage. They're not the queens. The queens are the directors behind the scenes. The kings, they're the actors upon the stage. They are the ones who, you see, you understand. And so during this time, communicatively, you are going to be that actor upon the stage. People are really going to be turning towards you. Now, this can also mean that you get a bit sharp-tongued during this time. It's kind of like frustrations come up. You believe that you're being very clear. This is, again, the muddling of communication that comes forward. You believe that you're being very clear. You believe that you've stated everything. And it can even be that people who are talking to you believe that they're being clear, that they stated everything, that documents were sent, that, booklets were left out. Whatever it is that you do, they're going to think everything's running smoothly, like they've done everything. But people keep on dropping the ball. Now, this is also saying here that you kind of pick up that ball, all right? You definitely run with it. You make the most out of this situation, but it does bring up heartbreaks, pains, disappointments. There are things that come around where you're looking at things, and because you are more emotionally connected, there are going to be more times during this retrograde where you're emotionally stressed, where you feel as if you just go against one mishap after the other, and you're like, why is this happening? Why am I looking at things this way? Why are my doubts and my fears coming up? Why is it that I feel like I can't make the right decision, or every decision that I make, instead of having the Midas touch, it just flounders? This is because, you're being told to look at things more closely. And once you know that things can go pear-shaped, you are fantastic, Aries, at being able to have contingency plans, being able to look at things and saying, okay, I need to look at it this way. I need to know that things are going to go pear-shaped, and I need to be prepared. So as you embrace this preparation, as you embrace this determination, you're going to find that you wind up actually, instead of being heartbroken, you're looking at the heartbreaks, you're looking at the pains that you have been through before, and you're saying, you know what, no more. No more am I letting this nonsense hold me back. And it's not nonsense, but it feels like a weight around your chest, right? It makes it hard to breathe. It makes it hard to move forward the way that you want to. And as you embrace what you love, as you embrace who you are, you start to really see that you, are looking head on to the difficulties in communication, in what your heart truly desires. This is heartbreak, pain, disappointment, doubts, fears, and you're starting to unravel the web that they have been around. This can be the web of, the past, where things have fallen apart before, and now you're really drawn to looking at the past, to looking at the way that you want to move forward now. And as you do so, you have the Knight of Swords right here. And the Knight of Swords is knowing what you desire. It's taking what you want and saying, okay, I am charging forward. Again, this is all about communication. Air signs are all about communication. They're all about, getting things done. And it's funny because air signs are mostly ruled by Mercury, or have a very strong Mercury influence to them. So you're going to have a very strong Mercury influence to you during this time, especially if if your communication is in Mercury in your chart. You're going to find that you're really determined not to let this slow you down. But this is going to slow you down because it's the nature of the beast. But as you look at things, as you define things, as you move forward in your power towards what you want, towards what you need, you become more distinctly aware of where you're going. And this is also saying here, be very, very cautious about rushing off without having every step done, or saying, okay, this person is totally going to handle this, they got this, and then you wind up looking at it and you're like, they dropped the ball. What the heck is going on here? So be very mindful of this during this time, because this seems to be much more prevalent to you than it can be to other signs. So double checking, looking at things again. And this is, not something that you want to do. You're going to sit there and think, wow, now this is just more work upon my shoulders. There is actually a sense here that you shine bright. Yes, this isn't something that you want to deal with. Yes, you're looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I move forward to the place that I really want to be? And it's by looking at things. It's by understanding. And it's also by alleviating the emotional vampires and putting into the coffers, putting into your savings, into your place of truth and emotional power, what you need, what you want, what you desire, and not trying to give and give and give to everyone else at the detriment of yourself. This is cutting off ties with those who are draining you. This is rethinking relationships, looking at relationships, seeing things a lot more clearly. And as you are looking at things, you're seeing what you need to save, what you truly want during this time, and it moves you forward. And as it moves you forward, as you are empowered by this, you have the repeat of the number 4. Okay, so this definitely means to take care of yourself, to look at yourself, to see what it is that you want as you are moving forward, to see how to take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. 5 is saying that yes, you do come against conflicts, pains, disappointments, mishaps, right? Because you're seeking freedom. You're seeking freedom, you're seeking independence, you're seeking this ability to move forward. And the issues that you meet during this time, they do get resolved rather quickly, all right? They're not going to stay. They're going to lead you towards this place of rebirth, towards this place of understanding. And with the 4 of Swords, saying step back. Let yourself have a breather during this Mercury retrograde because it is going to be emotionally intense one for you. So as you step back, as you look at things, as you let yourself heal, as you look at what it is that you desire, as you're seeing your truth and your power, okay? By taking a breather, by giving yourself time to rest, by not saying, okay, I just have to go from one thing after another, because burnout can be really real, especially since you are so focused on getting the job done, on moving forward, and on not letting anything stop you. For some, you might find that you have a bit of a confrontation with an air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone who is deliberately manipulating your words. Now, this could be an older person, okay, as what I'm seeing here, somebody who is quote unquote masculine, all right? It can be a man, or it can be somebody who just is very kind of like overly demonstrative, we're going to do things my way. It has to be done just like this. Step out of my way. I know the truth. And you can find this person to be very cutting, and their words wound. So just be mindful of this during this time, because you're going to be emotionally more, it's not invested, okay, but it's a little bit more raw, a little bit more open to things. So you need time to rest. You need time to step back, because you're going to be, maybe even a little bit more emotionally invested in things than you usually are. There's the sense of usually being able to be not distant, but like a general on a battlefield, like looking at things and being more logical, more distinct about things. And then here, there's going to be a harder time, pulling that way of thinking apart, being able to be more objective. That's the word that I'm looking for. And so as you rest, you're able to move forward from what you once thought you would love. You're able to sit there and look at what you desire, look at where it is that you want to be, and say, you know what, this just isn't working for me anymore. And because you are so in tune with your emotions, you become empowered, you become emboldened. And this leads you to facing during this retrograde, which is very interesting. You're going to be facing, something karmic, something that you have faced before and you thought, oh my gosh, I'm done with this. It's not going to be my burden anymore. And yet it's back on your plate. And so you're looking at things, and because of you being serious, all right? And because of you looking at this retrograde, not as a time of, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It's as a time of, I need to get things done. The world isn't going to stop because Mercury isn't in retrograde. The world isn't going to let me, not make any big decisions or just, hide in my house until things are done. You're looking at things now and you're saying, okay. And you're actually seeing that for some of you Aries, why you were born in Aries is because you were meant to stand your ground. And you are meant to sit there and say, I'm not going to be defeated. I'm not going to slow down. In this retrograde, you'll be darned if this retrograde is going to slow you down. It's going to make you look at things and doubt yourself and doubt where you're heading. So people are going to come back and they're going to try to use your words against you. They're going to sit there and say, oh, we sent you those documents when we didn't send you those documents. Emails were sent, communications were had, and this could be at work, this could be at home. You're sitting there and you're looking at things and you're like, no, I never got this message. No, you didn't leave that note on the counter. What the heck are you talking about? And then you'll find out that it could have fallen, that the person was in a rush and they took note with them instead of putting it on the counter, things like that. It can seem like really little things, but as they add up, it's going to be like, okay, enough is enough of this nonsense. But you're able to stand your ground. You're able to know your truth. You're able to cut through the fear. And also, people come back who think that they can kind of pull the wool over your eyes. It can be that they come back like you've worked with them before, or, family members who you haven't seen in a while, they start sprouting up and you're like, what the heck? We stopped talking for a reason, kind of thing. And you're going to see that you really do handle things exquisitely. I really am seeing you handling things well, even though, looky here, he's standing tall and firm, and the city in the background looks as if it's on fire and they're going back. So it's kind of like you stand your ground. even though it can seem like everything is on fire. It can seem like you have come out of a battle that left a huge amount of destruction. And as you stand your ground, as you know your truth, you embrace the Star card. And the Star card is, of course, the Aquarius energy. Now, this is a time frame of January 20th to February 19th, so February 18th. So this is a time frame, right in this Mercury retrograde is right at the beginning of this Mercury retrograde. It's when the Aquarius time frame ends, and the retrograde is in Aquarius for the ending of it. I know time frames and where the planets are, it can be a bit confusing, but this really brings the emotion into the situation, as well as the Mercury retrograde starting in Pisces. So you're going to see here that as you move forward, your heart is really being called to, and you are finding that you're getting what you need, not what you want. All right? And as you get what you need, as things start to be balancing, as things start to move forward, okay? As you see that your angels, your spirit guides, your connection with divinity is strengthened, and you are watering the seeds of what you desire, of what you want to achieve from life, you find yourself standing more. You find yourself standing tall. You find yourself being more confident. You find yourself being more assured, which leads you to looking at heartbreaks and pains that have held you back before. And now, as you're connected with the spiritual and with the earthly, you see yourself walking away and saying, I can't live in the heartbreak. I can't live in the doubt and in the fear. I have to move forward. And as you move forward, you embrace the Five of Cups. It's sitting here and looking at, things have fallen, things have failed, things were disappointing. But as you look at the Five of Cups, the two cups that stand, you see that you still have, the Minor Arcana Lover's card in front of you. You have the Two of Cups. You have your heart. You have your soul. You have your passion. You have your desire. And you start looking at it. And you start seeing what your heart wants, what you desire as you move forward. And this leads you to going through this tower time, because Mercury retrograde can turn things on its ears. Like, you think, again, you're being clear, or you could have a conversation with a person, and that person could be really tired, okay, really overwhelmed, not feeling well, completely forget. All right, and then you wind up having a bit of a tiff with them, because they're like, why the heck did you just do this? You didn't even consult me. And you're like, dude, we just had a conversation. What are you talking about? So just know here that a lot of factors are going to come in, and it's going to be more the emotional factors of things that add to the jumbling of communication. Because here with Mercury in retrograde, you're going to find that this Mercury retrograde is a very sensitive Mercury retrograde. This is a time where people are sitting there and they can even feel like they're not communicating well with themselves. They can feel like their life, the way that it's heading, isn't the direction that they wanted. And so they bring even greater frustrations to the table than just things getting muddled and things getting confused. So with the Tower card, this is also being pushed out of your comfort zone. This is divinity saying, okay, I'm using, and that's how I see, this period is divinity saying, I'm pushing you out of your comfort zone, Aries. I'm making you look at things in a different way, and it's a more emotional way. Now, you could be an Aries that is completely connected to your emotions, so just know that this time is going to be more intense, okay, with that connection to your emotions. Now, if you are an Aries that really does like to get things done, really sits there, looks at the facts, looks at things, and is kind of more of an analytical mind, all right, this time is going to really make you call on your heart, and that can be uncomfortable. It really can be. When you have somebody who's of the mind telling that they have to be, of the heart, or you have somebody who's of the heart and you tell them they have to be of the mind, it can be just too much. And they can say, no, I'm still going to do things analytically. I'm still going to look at things and try to make sure everything is right and balanced and succinct and secure. And as I do so, I am also going to bring emotion into the table. I'm also going to look at how I feel, what my heart is saying about this, and if I'm truly listening to what I want to achieve and who I am during this time, which will lead you to releasing emotional vampires, but also putting into your coffers, saving, putting into the bank what you need in order to keep on being successful, to keep on being prosperous, and looking at the heartbreaks and the pains that have held you back before and saying, you know what, no longer am I going to be defined by things that I can't change and I can't control. Okay, so your subconscious message for this time is the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is a Taurus energy, a time frame of April 20th to May 20th. And this is very much sitting there. And the Hierophant is represented by the Pope in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So it's being the King of Kings. It's knowing and committing to your truth, your power, your justice, your beauty. And as you do so, you move forward. It's not redefining yourself, it's reclaiming yourself and being more comfortable with the decisions that you are making and the way that you want to move forward in your life, because you know your truth and you know what you desire. Your subconscious message for your chakra is the star soul chakra, which is located 6 inches above your crown chakra. This is divine wisdom is a part of you. So listen to your intuition, and also don't do things quickly, okay? Kind of step back, take time to think about things, take time to connect with divinity, and then make your decisions. If you do have to make decisions quickly, this is saying that you need quiet moments. You need quiet moments to organize your emotions and your thoughts to be able to come together and make those decisions. So if you set yourself, it's like setting yourself up for success. This is what divinity is saying. So here, it's having those quiet moments in the car to work, or, taking out time to meditate if you can, or just to focus on your breathing. When a decision has to be made, you take 5 seconds, you focus on your breathing, deep breaths in, deep breaths, large, how would you say, slow breaths out is what I'm seeing here. And as you do so, you're going to find yourself being more aligned, being more focused, and eliminating the chaos, because that's going to be key for you and paramount to you during this time, is to be able to eliminate the chaos. Your subconscious animal message, spirit guide animal, is the flamingo. Embrace the in-between. Embrace the in-between. Embrace that everything, definitely during the retrograde, is not going to be black and white. But also here with flamingos, and why I love this card, is that flamingos are actually white birds, but they eat fish that turns them pink. So here, as you are taking in the energy of this time, okay, and it can be chaotic energy, it'll start to show around you. It will change the energy vibration around you. So be very mindful of that and embrace the fact that things aren't going to go according to plan, and that's okay. Have contingency plans, but also know that this is going to be kind of like an improvisational lesson. And then we have the blackberry adaptation. Yeah, you're going to be adapting to a lot. You're going to be looking at things and saying, okay, I have to think on my feet. And as you think on your feet, you find that your instincts are spot on and really quite beneficial to you. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. Have a safe and wonderful Mercury retrograde, even though it might be a bit hard. I love you all. Bye.